Boys and girls, good evening. Welcome back to High Top Sports Georgia. We're going to be talking about the transfer portal here a little bit for Georgia. Now, they typically in the past don't have to be too aggressive given the talent that they're bringing in. And when you really look at it, the two teams that are in the championship right now, and again, teams that have success, you want to be active in the portal. But if your average transaction is around that 6 to 7 mark, that's where you want to be. That means you're going after quality depth guys that you really need to go after. Right now, Georgia has 6 to be exact, which we're going to talk about a few of those guys and maybe some other positions that they need to go after as well. I would say the first thing that we can probably go over is, look, there's probably a couple of positions they could be attacking, but I would say the one thing that I would say they need to look at would be that quarterback room, right? Losing Jaden Rashada, They got a lot of young talent in Ryan Montgomery and Puglisi. But Gunner, you're a fan of Gunner. I think there's probably a lot of unknown there. And again, with the youth in that room too, and we've talked about it, the development in the quarterback room. Could you be a little? Is there too big of a gap if something were to happen to Gunner, or if he doesn't live up to that hype? Look, I think defensively Georgia is still going to be just fine, but there needs to be some changes from that or at least probably some help in that quarterback room for sure.
Yeah, I think definitely with Gunner, he can be the guy. It's going to take to get back to the old school Georgia football of running the ball, play great defense. Something that they have not been able to do a lot of this past last year because some O-line injuries, deficiencies, and development, and then obviously, they don't have Sony Michel and guys like that anymore. I mean, they get good backs. They got Nate Frazier. I'm high on him, but again, can he stay healthy? And I don't know if he can tote the rock 30 plus times a game. But they do recruit well in that position
For sure.
I'm gonna say if it, Georgia can make a playoff appearance with Gunner Stockton, but they have to key up and get back to old school Georgia football of playing sound, great defense, which at times has been lackluster this year. They got to rebuild the middle of that defensive line. That's where it starts. You got to think when they were making those national championship runs, the interior of the defensive line with Carter and everybody else was fantastic. Linebacker play, they got him. They got Zayden Walker. He's my favorite linebacker of the class. He's going to be an absolute stud, true freshman starter. Flies around like an old school Georgia linebacker with speed for days. But they also went heavy in the DB room in the portal. And I think, again, they had some deficiencies there.
3 safeties. Yeah, 3 safeties. Yeah, they had some guys go to the NFL and obviously just kind of some lack, and some guys hit the portal for them as well in the portal. Now we're talking about them getting back to their old ways of running the ball. But they went and got some top tier wide receivers, which we talked about with Uncle Lou a couple of times. Great, obviously Georgia fan, and that's something that the Georgia has been trying to go after. Have had struggles recruiting wide receivers, and up until this point, the quarterback room has looked good, but now you're starting to question, I would say, the development and the production coming out of it. I think Carson Beck had a really kind of a plunder of the year this past year. I had high expectations. I thought he was going to be in New York at the end of the year. Genuinely, missed the buck on that one. Go ahead.
For sure. And with the wide receiver room, historically bad for Georgia. Led the country in drops, missed assignments, bad routes, had wide open touchdowns at time and dropped them. It's just like, what can they do? Well, what you do is you restart that wide receiver room and you say enough is enough. You get rid of some cats, you let some cats go, and you go get some guys. I like who they got. They got Branch, a speedy wide receiver. I think they should have heavily went after the Georgia Tech kid. I can't remember his name.
Singleton.
Eric
Singletary.
Singleton. I think they should have probably heavily went after them. Them being rivals or some quote unquote in-state rivals. Not much of a rival with Georgia. Having that beating them like 30 years in a row. But I that may have played a factor into it. But I think they should have probably went after him because they need weapons on the outside for Gunner Stockton and to get the ball to. Tight end room is pretty solid. It's not what they've had.
Yeah,
it's not what they had, but it's tough. When Kirby built those teams, that you're thinking, oh my goodness. I mean, you're talking true NFL players, and so I think they've rebuilt the wide receiver room in a scheme that I like. They got some guys that are kind of unknown, but then they got Branch.
Look, Noah
and
Thomas
company.
6'5", you got a size, and Zachariah Branch I think is an absolute freak. I talked about
Yeah,
this when
he's
he
gonna
when he
be.
went there. He was a hot commodity. I felt like, and bring his brother along, Zion Branch as well in that safety position. I think he's a treat. I think it's gonna be fun to watch how he plays next year. He was fun to watch at USC. He's somebody who I've been watching since he came into the league of college football, but he should be fun to watch. Now, look, I've talked about this as well, man. I think where Georgia, and that we've heard some murmurs about some coaching possible changes happen. I think that's going to be their next big move too. Whether it's OC, whether it's offensive line coach, the trenches definitely need a little bit of TLC if they want to be able to maintain their run for next year. Let's talk about this game though coming up on Monday. Again, I keep saying I feel like it just kind of hasn't been talked about too much. And maybe it's because of this. It just feels like it's going to be a bloodbath. -9 for your championship game. I mean, that's what we're getting in this first round of these playoffs right now, are -9 spreads with the Texans versus the Chiefs and the Lions and whatnot. That makes sense. Well, it's, I guess, the second round of the playoffs. But your championship, your creme de la creme. If you guys want to get on these spread right now, of course, you go to betus.com, use code YouTube150, get back 150% on your first deposit, then 125 on your next two, up to $2,000. Odds are fantastic, and the payout seems to be a little bit sweeter than other ones as well. But -9, I kind of like that Fighting Irish here. I think their defense is going to throw some fits at him. We talked about this on another show. Big eyes there. He does. You're not feeling it. I like it. Look, I just think their defense is going to do some things. And again, Ryan Leonard hasn't looked great. So it's not like he has to play great for them to be alive. Notre Dame's identity is just play hard. It's just kind of just gritty. I like it. And I think Ohio State, I don't know, maybe, I know that they look really good. I know I'm kind of reaching here. They look really, really good. But I think -9 seems like a lot. 7, I think, is more the number.
Got a little parlay for him. I'm gonna go the points of Notre Dame, money line Ohio State, and the over 42.
I don't think you can do that.
Put all 3 bets in.
I don't think you can take money line -9 and the over. You can't take this.
You should be able to. 3 separate bets for you.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think
Money
so.
line, the -9, and then the over 42.
So you like Ohio State to win.
Yep.
You like +9 Notre Dame. So you like +9 too. You think
Absolutely.
it's too many points.
Too many points.
Okay. And you like the over or the under?
Over.
What's score prediction?
I think it's gonna be like 35 to. Yeah, I think it's gonna be like one of those 35,
31, 28?
31. Yeah, something like that. Close.
I think
close.
24-20. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be higher score than that.
I like 24-20. All right, we'll see. Should be good. Let us know down below your comments, your thoughts on the portal movement so far from Georgia, and of course, the spread on this one. But boys and girls, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, of course. Check out BetUS. We'll see you boys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.